Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Healthy Mentality Live, where we try to change the discussion around men's health, normalize those discussions about physical and mental health and use of GLP-1s. Thank you for joining us today. I have a very special guest today. I told him that if he went on somebody else's channel before he came to my channel, we was going to riot. We was going to turn some tables over. So he's here tonight. So without further delay, I'm going to bring on King Dariam. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing
What
great,
up,
doing great.
peeps?
You got some muckaluckas in the house.
Where my muckaluckas at?
All right, so let me set this up. In 1988, Keenan Ivory Wayans released a movie called I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. And in there's a scene where John Slade goes over Jack Spade's house and he has a band walking behind him. And Jack Spade asks him, "Who's that?" And he said, "This is my theme music. Every hero should have one." So then we get to the end of the movie, right before the credits. Jack Spade walks back up to John Slade, and John Slade sees this crowd behind him, and he asks, "Who is that?" And he said, "This is my theme music. Every superhero should have them." And behind him is Boogie Down Productions, the KRS-One, and they start singing the theme song for "I'm Gonna Get You Sucker," Jack of Spades. So I have a very special song for my guy Dariam. He's a hero in these GLP-1 streets, and he deserves a theme song. Here we go. It's Dariam. Yeah, big night, whole crowd leaning in for the show. Round mound on the live and we ready to go. Yeah, first time in the seat. Yeah, the moment is prime. It's Dariam in the spotlight. History on the line. They watch cause it's him, every vibe feeling right. YouTube streets been waiting on a night like tonight. It's Dariam, it's Dariam. YouTube favorite, yeah, they all understand. Spotlight bright when he steps on the scene. Love going up, making waves on the stream. Nah, 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 nah. It's Dariam, YouTube favorite, yeah, they all understand. Spotlight bright when he steps on the scene. Love that. That's from our own Harjareen. Thanks for putting that together. That's a banger right there. I love that.
It is. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hadreen. I really appreciate that.
So, Dariam, introduce yourself. Give us a little backstory.
Okay. All right. So who I am is I'm AI. I'm not really here. This is just
Don't start.
just okay, I guess I got to say. Okay, sure. All right. So it's Darium. I'm somebody who believes in supporting people through the messy middle of their journey. I've been on my own health journey since October of 2023 when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And that realization made me slow down and start to take my health seriously. And along the way, trying to figure everything out. I realized that I needed a community. And in finding this community, I realized that I'm a natural encourager. And in encouraging people along their journey, making people feel a little less alone, it kind of empowered me as well. So I spend a lot of times walking with people. I want them to feel seen. I know that we have so many people and everybody wants their journey to be just alike. But the beauty of this community is the diversity of experience, the diversity of where they come from and where they're going. So, about me, I'm a part of this community because I see myself in everybody and I want them to know you're a little less alone.
I love that. I love that. And you are a very integral part of this community. I mean, you've You've been with me since day one, cheering me on. And every time I look at somebody else's feed, you're there in their comments, cheering them on. And you make this community what it is, special. Appreciate you.
I appreciate that.
All right. So looking back at October 2023, what's going through your mind when you get those lab results and you're having that discussion with your doctor?
Whew. All right. So going back to October 2023. Now, one thing I'll tell you, I have always been in a larger body. So having a larger body was not a shock to me. I was what you call one of the healthy big people. You know, you're big boned and you everything is fine until it's not. So I went in, okay, this is October. I said, it's time for me to do my annual checkup. Now, this had been the first one I had done in a while. So I'm sitting in there and the doctor and I are having some, some great banter. Then she pulls up my chart. And then her face goes from, us smiling and talking to a look of concern. And when she had that look of concern and she was going over my numbers, she said, your A1C is 10.8. She must have been talking Sanskrit because I didn't know what that meant. She said 10.8. And I said, okay, that's good, right? No. She said that you have a really high A1C and you are in the danger zone of having type 2 diabetes. Normal diabetes should be a 5.6, and you are almost double that. So when she said that, it knocked the wind out of my sail. Being in the Black community, one of the things that you realize that diabetes and living with diabetes is not something that is foreign, but is one of those things. Every time you hear, don't do this, you're going to get diabetes. Don't eat that, you're going to get diabetes. If you get diabetes, all I could hear was this was a death sentence.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I messed up now. When life is over, I can only see I'm going to go blind or I'm going to lose limbs. So when she told me that, it kind of took the wind out of my sail. And if I'm being honest, I was in denial. I did nothing from October of 2023 until March of 2024
Mm.
because I was feeling sorry for myself. I felt that I had messed up and my life was over
Yeah.
until it wasn't.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you felt it was a death sentence. How did that hit you emotionally at that moment?
Well, the thing that what it did was it made me stop in my tracks. As a man, one of the things that we've always been taught is to take care of your family. So I didn't go to the doctor for a long time because why? I got to work, got to take care of my family, I got to keep going. And when I got that diagnosis, all of the things that came rushing in is you spent all this time taking care of everybody else and you didn't take care of yourself. So, what are you going to do? You're going to feel sorry for yourself or you're going to do something about it?
So you
So, I
mentioned that
decided
you
to do
were
something about it.
you mentioned that you were in denial. What was that period of denial like for you from you got that diagnosis in October 2023 and then you went to March 2024. What was that period of time like for you when you were in denial?
Okay. So, what it was like for me was I was walking in a cloud. I was looking at back then I didn't have my chart because I wasn't going to the doctor that often, but I signed up and I started looking at it and I was looking at these things with painstaking detail. I looked at that and I said, oh, they must have got somebody else because this can't be my numbers. No, that wasn't me. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't share the diagnosis with anybody. I kept going, just like everything was fine until I started feeling worse. And when I realized that I can't just wish this away, I got to do something about it.
So you get to March of 2024. What shifted?
Well, in March of 2024, what happened was I was in the period of I was doing my follow up and nothing had changed. And the doctor asked me point blank, "What are you doing?" And I did a whole lot of him and hawing, and then I just was honest with her. I think that those results were wrong. I think you pulled somebody else's results. And she was like, no. These are your results, and what are we going to do about it? Okay, what are we going to do about it, doc? Tell me what we can do. And like you, I have a young black female doctor who looked at me with concern and said, here's what we can do. This is not a death sentence. We can work this out. So she offered me metformin and all of that. And also she said, hey, now they have this shot called Mounjaro. And I said, well, what's that? First of all, a shot, I don't want no shots. I'm not taking no shots. I'm afraid of needles, and I'm really afraid of needles.
Yeah.
But she said, just try it. So from March, I got picked up my prescription on the 1st of March, and I did my first injection on the 9th of March because it took me that long to do it.
Right.
Now, I'll tell you, and this is on Beyonce and Al Gore's internet. It's when I opened that box of Mounjaro, and you look at that, and I read those instructions like 30 times because I was like, what are we supposed to be doing? So I said, well, it can't be no shot. So I took needle was there, and I did all that, and I put the pen on my stomach.
Yeah.
And no lie, it took me about 2 hours to press the button.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sweating. I'm in there, knees buckling. I'm in here like having a full on panic attack that I didn't even know I had panic attacks going through to press that button.
So
Then
you're
when I
definitely
did it,
scared of needles, huh?
oh, I'm scared of
Yeah.
needles. So I'm like, who can give themselves a shot? What is that? So I went forth and I pressed the button, and I heard the click sound like sonic boom, click. And then the second one, click. And I was like, well, what was all that noise for? Because I'm waiting for it to go down, and I waited for it. I'm looking. I'm like, okay, I'm dead. I'm waiting for it to hurt. It went in and came out, and I didn't feel anything. But in my mind, I just jabbed myself with a sword, and I was like, what is happening? So after that time, I went and I said, okay, well, let's see what this is going to do. What are we going to do, Mounjaro? I had to do all of that. So the fear of the needles, I had to get over it. I did it scared. It took me a while, but I did it. And, that was a long time ago. And it still took me a while to, it takes me now probably like 5 minutes to press the button.
Yeah.
And I'm in what, 91 weeks?
Still got to work your way up to it, huh?
I still got to work my way up to it.
So, apart from the discussion with your provider, was there a specific conversation or feeling or something took place that say I'm done feeling sorry for myself? I've got to make a change.
Yeah. So when she gave me the prescription and I picked it up on the first, and what took me a while to do it, I had to do a lot of ruminating. I had to do a lot of introspection, and I had to make the decision because then I went into research mode. I said, okay, if I have this, knowledge is power. And I guess, if you know, now you know, and knowing is half the battle. So if I know, and that's half the battle, and I realize that this diabetes is scary, is a very serious disease, but it's something that millions of people live with every day. And I said, okay, you could be one of the ones who live. So I went in and I said, okay, time's up for feeling sorry for myself because I was tired of my own funk. And I said, we got to do something.
Right. So how do you build grit and consistency? That's something that you mentioned in your bio.
So the way that I build grit and consistency is by doing it every day. I realize on this journey, every shot is different. How you feel on every shot is different. The side effects that you feel in are different. And in my mind, I went on social media, went on TikTok, and there was just a couple of people, and they were doing one-on-ones on how to live on Mounjaro. And everybody had a different experience. And no two people had the things alike. So I realized if you're going to do this, you got to live it each day. And in doing it each day, I learned more about me, who I was on it, and that if I survive the day, that's another day, another triumph. And so I said, well, if I can do it this, I can do it another day. So I realized that doing it and being consistent, building those patterns really is something to help keep you moving forward and to help me keep moving forward.
That's right. So you've talked about journaling, faith, your use of humor, and therapy. How has that helped you on your journey?
Whew. Well, the thing is, when I get nervous, that's when all of the jokes and things come out because it's like a defense mechanism. But I realize that if I can't have levity in the serious things, what am I even doing?
Yeah.
So I realized in that I couldn't do it myself. I was tired of being the one who had to be the strong one and not asking for help. And so when I sought help and I found a great therapist who helped to kind of talk me off the ledge on a lot of things, helped me to realize that every day is a gift. Rain, sunshine, all of it is a gift. And it's up to you how you do it. And I was like, well, who wants to walk around here on those rainy days? And my therapist was like, who told you that the sunshine was more important than the rain? Who told you that the good times were more important than the bad? How do you know you have a good day if you don't have a bad day? How do you know a day is bad if you don't have a good one? But if you take each day as it comes and you realize the lesson in each day, I think that you can have a more quality life versus trying to keep on wading through, trying to get to the next good thing.
I love that quote. I
It's
was going
like,
to ask you about that quote as well. So I'm glad you brought that up because that quote is powerful. So how has that quote shaped how you view progress and struggle on this journey?
so what that did for me was it helped me with my expectations. Because on this medication, you hear all of the different stories about how and what the medicine can do, but nobody tells you about those dark times. Nobody tells you about those great times, those celebratory times when it's just you and yourself. And you have to be your own best advocate. Because when you're feeling low or when you're feeling great, who do you have? Who's with you all the time? You. So hey, I got to live this life. I might as well enjoy it, right?
Yeah, I
Or
love
be
that.
miserable in it. I
Yeah,
chose to enjoy it.
yeah. That's like something I always tell my kids is you get to decide on how you react to things. You decide if something is going to be a stumbling block or a stepping stone. This is how you perceive it. So
Right.
if those struggles are important to building those stepping stones to a higher
I
higher
agree.
plane.
Well, I mean, I say I learned, I won't speak for everybody, I'll say me. I learned more through my setbacks than I ever have on my successes.
Yeah,
Those are the things that teach you the resilience,
yeah,
how to keep going, how to get over, how to realize that you're stronger than you think you are.
yeah.
You
I
can do more than
100%,
you think you can.
100% agree
You
with
are
that.
doing better than you think you are. Because we have a negative bias. We always want to see the worst in things, and that's a
Yeah,
protective thing. But sometimes we just have to know you're really doing better than you think you are.
yeah, exactly. So, like me, you've talked about being dismissed by your water check, water check. You've
Water
talked
check.
about being dismissed by your healthcare providers, and what did those experiences teach you about self advocacy?
Man, in
Uh,
in
and I will
going through
add,
my
especially,
health in general,
I will add to that,
sure.
especially as a black man.
As a black man, there is a lot of bias when it comes to dealing with healthcare industry. A lot of times you have people in the reception area who are so they're so reticent in trying to greet you that they barely see you. They push a clipboard in front of you telling you to sign your name, not even a greeting, and they're not even, trying to figure out what's the day is going. Hey, what's your insurance and all of that. And I was like, so I always try to take a moment and say, I hope you're having a good day. I hope everything is okay. Hey, we appreciate you taking care of us, because I don't want you just to treat me like another person. I don't want you to treat me just like I'm in line. I'm a person and you're a person trying to get through there.
Yeah.
So going in there and trying to tell the doctors, hey, I'm feeling this. Hey, I'm feeling that. Hey, I have an earache. Hey, I have a sinus infection. And the doctor, and they go and they write they write the prescription. And in there, hey, they'll put in your chart morbid obesity from over consumption of food.
Yeah.
We never discussed it at all. Obesity was never something that my doctor said to me in any my previous doctor, I have a new doctor now, said to me in any of the sessions, but this is in notes. And I get these notes after the fact, so I'm going back and reading these charts. And I'm like, this is the stuff that they put in your chart, but never have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
When I found out that how silent my experience was, how I never had a say in my notes, but people were writing a narrative about me, I was like, oh no, time out for this.
Yeah.
So I changed care teams. And when met with and I interviewed my doctor, because I said, never again will I be somebody write a bio about me and not include me. So I said, well, I'm going to meet with doctors that are going to take a moment to talk with me, see me, because if you're in charge of helping me with my health, you got to see me as a person and not see me as another statistic.
Yeah.
So I met with a few doctors, and when I met the young black female who took the time to listen to me, listen to my concerns, listen to all of the notes and things that I was telling her about, and I said, if you have a conversation with me, I may be a big guy, but I'm not that scary. Have a conversation with me and tell me what's going on. Be honest with me, and I'm gonna be honest with you. And she listened to me. I was like, okay, I think we can do this. So in taking that moment of trying to figure out, you want somebody to write a narrative about you that you have no involvement in, or do you want to start changing your biography into an autobiography? You have to speak up for yourself.
I agree. I mean, I can tell you that I've never received care like I have received care from my primary care physician, who is um, a woman of color. She's not a black woman. She may be Afro Latino, but she is amazing, and it's such a different experience. It's taking the time with you to make and thinking two or three steps ahead of you, stuff that you're not even thinking about, having those conversations with you. I think about the care that we receive as black men or as a black community, and that dismissive attitude. And I'm thinking specifically about I don't know if you've seen this video about the young lady that was at the Dallas Regional Medical Center in labor, and the nurse was just had her back turned to her, was not paying attention to her, and she's sitting in the wheelchair and trying to get attention, and nurses completely ignoring her. She ended up giving birth in that wheelchair 12 minutes later.
Wow.
Horrible story. And that's just the
Unacceptable.
kind of stuff that we have to deal with as we try to navigate this healthcare system and get the care that we deserve and that we need. So
Unacceptable.
you mentioned interviewing doctors. What would you recommend someone do to interview a doctor?
Okay. What I would say is, I find that I have more success when I'm talking with a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant, because a lot of times those individuals they're still in their learning phase and they don't have as many patients. And if they in their care still have to report to the doctors who are the ones who are their senior, but they listen, they offer sound advice, They don't know it all, and they'll tell you, "Hey, I'll find out more about that," and they follow up with me. So if you're going to go and you're going to interview doctors, everybody's experience is different. So for me, if I'm going to take charge of my care, I need somebody who is going to help me because I'm a novice. I don't know a lot, but I want to know. You may be somebody who knows your history and all of those things. So you don't need a lot of hand holding. You just need somebody who is going to make quick decisions, help you figure things out, and keep it moving. Whatever works for you, that's the type of relationship you should have with your care team.
Yeah.
And I learned from Jay, and you had Jay on a few weeks ago on the show. And one of the things Jay said that stuck with me is there's nothing wrong with expanding your care team.
Yeah.
So you may have a primary doctor who you think is fantastic, but may know nothing about the endocrine system.
Yeah.
You may have a fantastic endocrinologist who knows nothing about obesity. So you may be able to bring these doctors on. You don't have to fire this one or that one, just add to your care team because you may need to have the Avengers to come and save you
Yeah.
because hey, you have different needs. So never be somebody who's going to take no for an answer. And if they don't have time to talk to you, then that's not the doctor for you.
How has having a provider that sees you changed your relationship with the healthcare system?
It has the relationship I have with my primary doctor has reinvigorated my thirst for seeking health. Because if I'm ignored, then I will either figure it out or I'm going to try to do it myself. And I realized that me doing it myself all this time wasn't working. So she restored in me the faith that hey, somebody cares about your health. Somebody cares and want to make sure that you're doing well. You got to show up and you got to do it too.
Yeah.
So that relationship has helped empower me.
Now, you've mentioned that you found healing through helping others online, encouraging people online. Um, how has the community impacted your own growth?
Oh, I see in the stories, in the experiences, in the frustrations that people in the community share with one another. And a part of the empathetic side of me can see that pain, can feel that pain. And it helps me because the things that I'm sharing with others are lessons and things I have said to myself, things that I've journaled to myself. And I'm sharing from, hey, this is what helped me, or this is what I needed to hear in that moment. And I realized that in there, that I see myself in a community of diverse people that made me feel a little less alone. And in feeling less alone, it makes me want to take charge of, hey, I'm not in this just for me. We have a whole host of muckaluckers who need some support. So let's all rally together because we are all trying to get to better health. What that looks like for you, RMZoo, in your journey, what it looks like for me in my journey is going to look different. However, the destination of better health is where most of us are trying to go. So, if we're going to go crawling, we're going to go through wheelchairs, we're going to go through skipping along, we're going to frolic. However, we get there, let's get there together.
Shout out to the Muckaluckas.
Shout out to the muckaluckers.
What have you learned about yourself by supporting others on the journey?
What I realize about what I realize for me is that I don't have to have all the answers. I realize that I have a bigger heart than I thought I did. I realize that I'm more broken than I ever thought I was. I realize that far too long we have been silenced and it was okay to be silenced. I realize that I have to be my own chief advocate. If I want others to take care of me, I got to take care of myself first.
Hey, what does forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness, look like for you now?
Oh man, I realized that one of the things my therapist helped me with forgiveness, because forgiveness was a real big one because I dealt with a lot of shame and a lot of beating myself up. My therapist reminded me, you cannot hate yourself to health. You cannot betray yourself into healing. You cannot shame yourself into growth.
Yeah.
So if you don't love you, how will you ever come out of a place of hurt and disease if you don't put any love into yourself to get there? Because you will always find a way to sabotage it. You will always find a way to pour bleach over it.
Yeah.
You will always find a way to set it on fire because you feel you don't deserve it. So I realized that I got to be at the forefront.
Dropping jewels. I love that. So, how would you define strength today compared to how you would have defined it, say, October 2023?
Strength today is realizing that it's okay not to have the answers. It's okay to not be the one who has to shoulder it alone. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to have bad days. It's okay to have setbacks. It is okay to just go through the life that is full of vibrancy and wonderment. It is okay to have all of those things because you can still survive. I realize that strength is more than just girth and having the world on your shoulders. It's more about resiliency, about buoyancy, and about, can I come back from this?
Yes, I love
And I
that.
realize I can.
Yeah, definitely can. Still standing. Still standing. Love that. Um, if you could go back and talk to yourself the day before that October 23 appointment, what would you say to yourself?
Cancel. Don't go.
Chances.
Ain't nothing good gonna be there that day. Don't you got to work? What is happening? No, you don't need to go back there. If I told myself that, don't go. Denial is, one of the things about denial was bliss. But what I would say to that guy who heard the story about the type 2 is, it's not your fault. You didn't fail. You didn't fail yourself. You know now, and because you know now, you can do better. There is life, and it's not the death sentence that you thought it was. The fear is worse than what you're going through because the scenarios I came up with in my head were very grim.
Yeah.
So I would say to that guy, you're not in this alone. You have more people who are rooting for you than you could ever imagine. You got this. So let's do this.
Yeah. Love that. So let's talk about the medication itself. As part of the GLP-1 community.
Okay.
You started taking this medication in March of 2024. You mentioned that your A1C was 10.8 when you had that October 23 appointment. What does that look like now? How's the medication help you to manage your A1C?
Okay, great. That's a great question. So, in there and trying to figure that out, my doctor and I, we were trying to come with a game plan of getting it down and getting it down pretty quickly. And I realized that I got some resistant A1C. I got some resistant glucose. So, in going through there, and we're trying to go through the doses, and it's coming down. It's coming down steadily, and going through the doses, and it took me probably I started in took me until June of this year to get to the 15. And then getting to the 15, that's when I realized that my A1C was finally coming down to the normal range because it went down from 10 to 8 to 7 to 7 to 7 to 6 to 7 to 6 to 6 to 5.9, and then just recently it came to 5.6.
Normal
So
range.
I was like,
Love that.
coming from 10.8 to 5.6 was I was like, oh, hard work does pay off.
Yeah.
Consistency does pay off. When I saw that, my doctor and I were like, man, I can have a donut now? No, I can't have a donut yet. But we had a great time and in doing it. And it seemed like it took forever. But it also seemed like it was a blink. It happened so fast because I've managed to live every day with trying to make each day better than trying to chase a number. And I'm like, okay, now what? Oh
now,
my
now,
gosh.
now, were you stacking meds, or were you doing Mounjaro plus metformin still, or was it just Mounjaro?
No, I was doing Mounjaro. I was doing a high blood pressure medicine, doing cholesterol medicine, and the metformin. So I was had all of that stack going on,
Mm.
and in there now my cholesterol medicine is lowered. Now my blood pressure medicine is in half, but I'm still taking the Mounjaro, and I stopped the metformin.
Oh, nice, nice. So you
So,
were at stage two hypertension. So being that
oh gosh.
you're just like I was, and now that you've cut that medication in half, I'm assuming that you're at a lower level.
Yeah,
It's more
my
manageable now.
blood pressure as yesterday was 113 over 78.
Oh, nice.
So that's a whole lot better
Yeah,
than it
yeah,
was.
yeah. You're about where I'm at, just about. So that's really good. That's really
Uh-oh,
good.
I'm catching up.
Yeah. There's room over here. Come on.
Uh, no, y'all HOA fees too high. I'm good.
um, the and you've also mentioned that you've had sleep apnea. How has that improved? Have you done a new sleep study, or has your pressure settings changed?
Yes. So I've had sleep apnea till I was looking back and I was like since 2006. I've had severe sleep apnea since then. And from there, I think that when I was until until 2023, I was like on 14. And now I think that my settings are maybe on 5.
Yeah.
So I still have it, but the pressures have gone down a lot better. I have a lot more restorative sleep. So I'm not waking up as tired as I was.
Yeah.
So I still need my CPAP. My CPAP and shout out to Joe. So I recently named my CPAP Celeste. Celeste and I, we've been hanging tight for a while, and we're growing apart a little bit because we have a little less pressure, but we're doing it.
So
And
so
in that is really
Celeste and
been helpful.
Colin is Joe calls her Collins, right?
Celeste and Colin.
Yeah.
Yep. So hey, but they're taking care of us, making sure that we're good. So
Yeah.
those health things are doing better. So I'm
Yeah. I love to
feeling
see
so
that
much better.
improvement. Hopefully, we'll get you off of that machine in due
Oh
time.
gosh. Look, we spend together so been together so long. I'm like, okay, that's all right. We'll put you on the shelf. We'll make sure we bronze you. You'll be good. So I can't wait for that day.
Now, you've mentioned, to at least to me, that you lost 10% of your body weight,
Hmm.
and a lot of that. And I want to preface this by saying the scale is not the end all be all of this journey.
Oh,
There's so many other benefits of this medication, and I know you know that. I'm just saying that for others out there listening. We're not
yeah.
necessarily talking about scale victories. Um, and what I wanted to ask you is, being a type 2 diabetic, we know that the medication is not as efficacious in terms of weight loss, for a lot of people that are type 2 diabetics. And I think uh, that is because um, I think it's called DPPP
I think a
or
deep P
44,
or something like that.
some enzyme in the stomach that tears down the molecules a little
Hmm.
faster. So people that are type 2 diabetics may need more of the medication, like a 20 milligram or 25 milligram, which they're currently in trial for, to start
Hmm.
seeing some of that weight loss. But how do you maintain your focus and not get into a woe is me as you're seeing all these before and afters on social media, and not compare yourself to someone else's journey, but stay in your own lane and know that what you're doing is working and you're seeing success in your own right.
Hmm. So when it comes to the comparison of it all, shout out to Didi. In the comparison world, I realize that it's very human to want to compare because you hear all of the great things. Oh, you take this medication, you're going to come back and you're going to be the size. I'm still striving for my 5T, but you realize that you're going to go and you're going to do all of these weighted things, and people are like me and they're doing this and they're dropping this and that. And I realize you only see one snippet of somebody's life that they're sharing online. You
Yeah,
don't live in their bodies. You don't know the sacrifices that they're making. You don't know their DNA.
yeah,
Why would you, compare what they're doing? Because I don't know the cost
yeah,
of what they have to go through. And when I realized that I am disrespecting my precious body that God made for me by daring to compare it to somebody else who I only know a snippet of, and the things that they're doing for what's going on for me. When I had that slap in the head, like, fool, you doing better than you think. Me saying, I'm doing this journey coming down. I'm like 31 pounds down and 10% of my body weight. But oh my gosh, what else have I picked up? I'm standing here right now doing this interview because I can.
yeah,
If you had told me this beforehand, I would be we're gonna sit on the floor. Oh no, I didn't want to get on the floor because getting back up was a problem.
yeah,
But I feel so much better in my body. I am not waking up aching every day. I'm aching. Well, no, some days I'm aching, but most days I'm not aching.
yeah,
I can walk farther than I can. I'm in the gym or I'm working out 5 days a week, doing strength training 4 days a week. And I'm doing all those things trying to, because the medicine, what it helps is not only helps with the mindset, but it helps with the recovery.
yeah,
And going, I can remember walking before and waking up the next day hurting so much that I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. But now at the recovery, I have gained so much more life in this 91 weeks that has been a gift to me. How dare I even throw in the face of, oh, I don't have this and I don't have that? No. How much more life have I picked up? How much more life have I get to enjoy? How much more of this amazing journey do I get to share with others and relish with others and celebrate with others because their wins are my wins?
yeah,
Their experiences are my experience. We're all, like I said a long time ago, we're all in this together. So we all have to take our journey to each other. So, in knowing that, it helps me to remember that I got this race to run. I'm going to do it on my terms. I've always been ornery anyway, so I might as well do it my way anyway.
yeah. I knew you was gonna bring the fire with that answer. I knew it. I knew it. You deserve a DJ air horn for that one. Love
Uh
that. Love
oh.
that. Um, there was one reading through your bio, and there was one section in there that caught my attention about you being, this 6'2", larger size black man, and trying to be extra, shrinking yourself to be accepted by people, so people wouldn't be scared of you. And that's something that resonated with me so much, as that's something that's ingrained in us as black men. I remember walking across streets at the stoplight and people locking their car doors, or or ladies clutching their purses as I'm walking down the sidewalk because they seen this big black guy walking by them, or they cross the street. And and in order to fit into society, that's training for us to learn how to fit into society as these larger men, especially when I was 6'2", 358. You try to shrink yourself and not be seen, and not to be seen as a threat, to be seen as friendly. Can you talk about um, how this journey has changed that for you?
Absolutely. So, going back, one of the things that reinforced this idea about being perceived as a threat was when we had the whole Black Lives Matter movement, and there was lots of debate back and forth about the causes and things like that. And I had to tell some people, you may think that you know me, but stranger walking down the street looks at me as a threat and never heard one thing that I said. Being in a professional space, being a larger guy, you have to, sound more friendly. You have to go and you have to talk to people first because you want to make sure, hey, you understand that I'm not a threat. So you have to, do all of these things because you want to be seen as approachable, or hey, I don't want you to spend too much time looking at me.
Yeah,
And in this journey of going through and realizing the transformation that people have gone through with the feeling invisible, you may be the largest person in the room and still invisible. You may be the person who is doing this and that and still nobody sees you, or they avoid you, or you try to walk into spaces that they have this, you trying to sit down and there's no seat for you. Or you realize that people are looking at you and not in the way that you want them to look at you. It makes you feel subconscious. But in this transformation, in this phase, the thing that falling in love with yourself of who you are, it's a journey. So, some days I don't like myself as much, but the days that we're getting together, we're growing, is that I dare me now to take up space.
yeah,
I dare me now to realize that I own this space. You don't have to own it for me. I don't need you to acknowledge that I
yeah,
own it. It's up to me to own it.
yeah,
Because when I do that, then it helps me to shrink less. When I do that, it helps me to feel more fulfilled. It helps me to have a better quality of life. I don't need your approval for my quality of life.
yeah. I love
So I
that.
learned that from watching the people in this community grow, watching the people in this community transform, sharing their vulnerabilities, or as Jason Wilson would say, being emotionally available, that you realize that the frustrations, the back and forth, and this and that are all part of life. You just have to be able to deal with those things.
Yeah. And that was one of the unexpected things that I got out of this journey using this medication, is I found out I didn't have to shrink myself anymore. I can be who I am, and show up how I want to show up. I don't have to play the background. So, and I'm seeing, that's being a common thing. People are showing up as who they are, and not hiding any longer. So that is one powerful benefit that I've seen on this medication for myself. And I appreciate your answer there.
So when you said that, it reminded me of the video that you did, and you had just had the interview for the job, and you had just taken a moment to say, "Man, I got my swag back. I walked in
Yeah,
this room and I owned it, and I showed them that hey, I was they're not gonna get nobody better than me.
yeah,
So you may as well hire me. You may
yeah,
as well hire me because I ain't shrinking no more." And the look of joy and elation you had on your face is to say, I own this space.
Yeah.
and the people saw that you own that space, and it just would say, "Hey, Mr. Director, we were so happy to have you here."
And
Was a moment that
the funny thing is my boss, my VP, he has brought that interview up like 4 or 5 times since. He said he really enjoyed it. I left no doubt, and that's just a benefit of this medication.
I mean, hey, the medication is fantastic, but I ain't giving that one to the medication. That's all you.
Oh yeah,
You put in
yeah.
the hard work for that. That's
Oh
all
yeah,
you.
most definitely, most
But the
definitely.
but your win in that moment was my win in that moment.
Yeah.
Was a whole lot of audience people who were looking at you. That was our win. Now we wait for our cut, and we wait for our little cut. But that was a win for all of us, and we appreciate it. So I thank you for sharing that.
Speaking of popping out and showing them, you have something going on at Substack, the messy middle. You want to talk about that? What was the inspiration behind starting your Substack channel?
Okay, so again, thank you for that. So this Substack, I want to thank Barb, who Health at Any Cost. She started a Substack, and when she was putting it and sharing her story, it inspired me because I realized that there's so many people on this journey who are vying to get to their after, vying to get to their goal, but not enough people talking about the messy part, the ups and downs, the back and forth, living each day on a as somebody living with a chronic disease, to try to talk about those experiences. So I coined the messy middle of saying that the messy middle is from the before and the after, is life in between. And there's so many things that I have experienced or I have witnessed or I have seen from others that deserve an opportunity to be shared. Maybe people will find some comfort, maybe people will find some hope, maybe people will feel a little less alone as they're trying to change the focus from a goal to change the focus to living, because you don't have to wait till you get to your goal, whatever your goal is, to have a fulfilling life.
Yeah,
Because if you rush toward the finish line, you didn't enjoy the run. Then that's the whole point.
yeah, yeah. That's so
So that's
true.
why I decided to say, hey, let's go to Substack, because I wasn't a content creator. I'm not going to get on here on YouTube like you all wonderful content creators, but I'll say at least I'll write something down.
You're a
That
content
is
creator
important.
now. You got the messy middle going. That's content creation. Welcome to the club. So if
Dang
you
it.
guys are interested in following, and I hope you all are, the link to his Substack is in the description of this video, along with his social media pages. So if you're not following Dariam, I would ask, what are you doing? You should be following Dariam and follow his Substack, The Messy Middle. There's some great content in there that he's providing us some stuff to think about. Um, that's all I had. Is there any questions from the crowd out there? Let's see.
Oh, I forgot. I'm just talking and I didn't even look and see that you all were saying anything.
If y'all got some questions for Darium, now's the time. Put them in the chat with 3 Q's in front of them. I don't see any questions so far, but I'm sure some
That's okay. Y'all don't
muckaluckers.
have to have any questions.
I'm sure the muckaluckers want to
I'm just
ask some questions though.
kidding.
I do want to shout out to Mel B for the super chat. You are most welcome. And Mel will be so glad to hear that you're working out strength training 4 times a week. I know she was happy to hear that.
Oh, don't tell her. I don't want her. Look, I don't want her gloating on that. She don't get that one.
Got another one from Harjareen. Thank you. And that song was so dope. I've been playing it
Thank
just about
you.
every day. We got a vibe to it.
Amazing.
And G's 101, my guy. Thank you, G's.
Jeez.
Appreciate you. All right, let's see if we got some questions now. All right, my guy Jess. Hey Jess, how you doing? He's asking, how's that everyday ascend shirt?
Oh, so that Jess over there doing some great things on Instagram. And he had a giveaway, and his algorithm was smart enough to pick me to choose to give a shirt away to. And he sent me this wonderful shirt, the Everyday Sins shirt, which is fantastic. And I was like, oh, he was like, oh, well, you got something to wear. And I was like, I wish I could put it on now, but because it was going to be too dark. But thank you so much, Jess. It is fire. You have some great material. So I would say shout out to Jess and over there. He is making some great content and also has some great merch. So you check him out as well.
I'm surprised they ain't in here giving you hard times with these questions. I thought the
It's
Muckaluckers was
okay.
gonna give you hell. Kim J says you did well.
Uh-oh.
We got a question here from Kim K. Thank you, Kim K. What has been the most challenging part of your journey and the most surprising part?
All right. So you said what's been the most challenging part of my journey has been overcoming the shame. The overcoming the shame and the self blame was the hardest part, and that's the thing I put the most work into. And the thing that's also the part that was the most surprising was when I laid that to the side, how much easier each day was. Because in my head, dealing with the cloud of shame, that's some thick stuff. But if you let go of that weight, if you drop down that weight, it is so much more free.
Great answer. And what was the most surprising part of your journey?
The most surprising part was that when I realized that I'm not messing up every day. I'm doing this. I'm doing it. I'm actually doing it. I'm doing better than I thought I was. I thought I was stinking it up every day. I thought it was like I ain't doing nothing right. But seem I'm doing okay.
All right. Health at any cost asks, how old are you and do you exercise?
Um, Barb, none of your business. No, I'm just kidding. Me, I'm 54 and I exercise. I exercise my right to refuse to answer questions. I exercise my right to be ornery. I exercise. So look, I'm going to I'm working out 5 days a week and doing cardio, and I'm also strength training 4 days a week. I'm lifting up thumbnails, and I'm lifting up staplers. So whatever, and I am part of the resistance. So I'm doing all those things.
Love it. DJ Harjareen asks, what has been the most significant change you've noticed physically or mentally since you started?
Ooh, that's a really good question. The thing that I've noticed physically. So we're noticing things physically is that the how inflamed my body was because moving was such a chore. And this medication, with the ability to reduce the inflammation in my body, I'm not waking up hurting every day. I have more mobility. If I'll get stiff, but keep moving and the stiffness lessens. Oh my goodness. It's just a quality of life that I did not, I've been in this chronic illness for so long. I did not know I was feeling bad until I started feeling better,
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
yeah, it definitely does. All right, Dimitri asks, what has been your most successful weight loss week, if you can recall?
My most successful weight loss week was probably the week one on 2.5. I think I lost maybe 4 pounds the first week. So I was like, oh, 4 pounds a week. It's gonna take me like 20 minutes and I'm gonna be 100 pounds down.
All right, DG, when did you realize you were owning your space and how did that feel in the moment?
Ooh, you know the it's funny. One of the things that I realized that I was owning the space was as somebody who likes to hang out in the background, and I had to go and I had to do a training, and I realized that getting up and speaking in front of a crowd of people, that I wasn't self-conscious about how I was or if anybody was going to see me or how was this going to be. I just got up there and did it and didn't think about it until I sat down. And I realized that just going forth and being without thinking about being was a whole lot freeing. And I didn't even have to think about that. So I realized, oh, you're taking up space and the world didn't cave down on you.
Love that.
So, I like it more now.
All right, Twan. Twan wants you to tell the story behind Funky Chunky.
So Twan, Twan, shut up! Stop telling everything you know. No, Twan said she had this some popcorn or something called Funky Chunky, and I was jokingly saying, "Oh yeah, Funky Chunky, that was my nickname in high school." It wasn't my nickname in high school. I was just being funny.
I was on that live. I remember that. My guy, John Henri, what makes you come out of your content creation shell? What we've been waiting on you. What made you do
Jean
it?
Henri, I'm still in my content creator shell, but is now going to be join me on Substack and you'll be able to see all of my content. Thank you so much, Jean Henri. I appreciate him so much. He has been a great friend.
All right, Lily B asks, is it true diabetics have a harder time losing weight on GLP-1s, if not in general? I've had a lot in our many communities get discouraged at time.
So there is opposing thoughts when it comes to that. I will say this: that every journey is different. Everybody is different, and everybody reacts differently. Thank you, Mayor Mendy. Because there are some people who have a type 2 diagnosis that are losing a great deal of weight, and while there are others who are not. You have some people who don't have any comorbidities who are losing a great deal of weight, and others who are not. So, in that, everybody reacts differently to it because this class of medications may be efficacious for a lot of people, but not every person, just like the previous ones were. So, there are some people who are discouraged about their results. And I say to them, you have to find your why. Why did you start this? Are you progressively better than you were when you started? And what can you do to make the most of it? And if this class is not working for you or not giving you the what you think that you need, just be patient because more is on the way.
And he's back. You know, we love your big headed ass and love the support you give us.
Thank you.
See, is there anyone specific on YouTube that you feel helped you get through your tough times on your journey? From Mia.
What was
Any,
that again? I'm sorry, I didn't see
is
it.
there anyone specific on YouTube that helped you feel or you feel helped you get through your tough times on your journey?
It's not any one person, it's everybody, because I pick up a little bit of hope, I pick up a little bit of strength from everybody, the things that they share and the things that they don't share, the getting to know people beyond just what they getting to know all of these different people who are on YouTube and on TikTok, because you go in there to learn, but then you realize that you get to know people, and when people share their experiences and you can find those nuggets that they share, those things remind me on those tough times that, hey, this person dealt with that. This person experienced that and they were able to overcome. You can do that too. So it's not just one person, it's the totality of people. So that's why you'll see that I'm in a lot of different spaces because I'm picking up nuggets all along the way.
Yeah. And our friend Grace wants to know, are you a GLP-1 lifer?
Yes.
All right. Linda Amazing. I consider myself a slow loser, 50 pounds down in a year and a half. What words of encouragement can you give slow losers?
Okay. Slow losers. The ones that are out there that are not getting the as Shannon would say, the razzle dazzle from the medication, I would say, hold on. You're doing better on these medications than you thought you were. So, in the 50 pounds that you lost in that amount of time, how much regain have you had? How much of a more mobility do you have? What can you do now that you could not do before? And when you realize the wins and the losses are all part of the journey, because who told you that it was going to magically, you're going to magically lose 200 pounds in a year? Nobody. It's our expectations. So when you realize that your body is fighting really, really hard to take care of you, and you remember that your body is there for you, those expectations you'll have to adjust. And as you keep going, don't give up. And when you do that, you'll be farther along on this. You'll be farther along in this journey when you look back. The time is going to pass. You may as well enjoy the ride.
And Grace is back. The middle is messy. About 91 weeks into a GLP-1 journey, what specific metrics or feelings define the finish line? When do you realize you have arrived?
Grace, I don't know. I don't know what it's like to get to the finish line because my goal is better health. And in getting to better health, what is that going to look like? I don't know. I'm excited to find out. I'm excited to see what the future's going to hold. What is it going to be like to have a normal A1C again? What is it going to look like to be off of all of these extra medications, to be able to walk without pain, to get on the floor and get back up? What more about my life am I going to do now? Now, am I going to wait till then to start living? I'd be wasting a whole lot of time. So I realize that each day that I'm living is a day that I can live more. So I don't know what the end is going to be, but I'm going to enjoy the right now.
And our last question comes from Lily. What's your advice for determining how to process GLP-1 information from all the, I guess, wonderful resources versus the questionable resources?
Oh, that's a great question. There's a saying that goes around in the community is take what you need and leave the rest. There's lots of people, lots of content creators, influencers, people who are sharing their perspective and their journey, and a lot of times they give you from their experiences. Most of them are well intentioned, most of them are coming in and they're coming from a good place. But they're not you. They don't know, somebody shares their life or they ask a question, that person only gets a 5 second snippet into your life. But you live with you every day. Find out what you need. Find out what information will help you along in your journey, and realize that you're not going to have everything that people are saying that may not apply to you. So you take the things that you need and you leave the rest where they are.
Great answer. All right, we have two more super chats. I want to give a shout out to Linda Amazing. Thank you so much. And my sister, the downsizing diva. Love seeing you live,
Uh-oh.
brother Dariam. So to Dee Dee, Mel, Harjarine, G's, Linda Amazing. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much for the super chats. And to my brother Dariam, thank you, brother. Thank you for showing up. And the community showed up and showed out for you. You know, you've been down with me from day one. You followed my journey, my GLP-1 journey. You checked on me when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. You followed up with me on a routine basis to see how I was doing mentally and physically. You just been there right by my side the whole way. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming here tonight to be part of this live. And I appreciate all the community that showed up for you, because you show up for everyone else. Like I said, when I go to this page and that page, and there you are. You're in that live, you're in that comment section, cheering somebody on, making people laugh, and the community is better for having you in it. Appreciate you, brother. Nothing but love.
Thank you. And before I depart, I want to say thank you to you. Thank you for having the courage to share. I know it wasn't always easy. I know that it's tough to come out of your comfort zone and come out of your shell to share more beyond who you are. In there, in your journey, your courage empowered me. You were the one who was out here, the champion who was going through the muck and the mire to share your story, the wins, the losses, the setbacks, and all of that. But beyond that, it was beyond your journey. It was so that you can be what you were missing. You were the one who was our captain, the leader of our brigade, who got up there and said, if I don't see what I need, I'm going to do that. When you did that, that inspired me to say, why can't we rally behind this guy here who's out here showing through all of this what it looks like? So easy to cheer you on, because you shared from a place of making sure that everybody is doing well. So your generosity of spirit, your willingness to not look out just for yourself, but look out for everybody else, to see the gems and the wins and the people that are around you, I say thank you. I thank you for this platform that you've created to give a voice to men's health in a way that you can tell it from your perspective, for giving people of color a space that they don't see seen and know that they are more than what they can provide. So I appreciate you. It was my honor. It was my pleasure to come over here and share with you, because you created a space where we can be seen and heard. And I appreciate you saying, hey, brother, come on, and took me in. And I appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you as well. One more final super chat. I got to give a shout out to Michelle's. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And on the way out, we got to do it one more time.
It's Dariam.
Thank everyone for joining us tonight. We appreciate you all. I know it's late for you guys on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Arjun and created a banger right here.
Crowd leaning in for the show. Round bound on the live and we ready to go. First time in the seat. Yeah, the moment is prime. It's Dariam in the spotlight. History on the line. They watch cause it's him. Every vibe feeling right. YouTube streets been waiting on the night like tonight. It's Dariam, it's Dariam. YouTube favorite, yeah, they all understand. Spotlight bright when he steps on the scene. Love going up, making waves on the stream. Nah, 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 nah. It's Dariam, YouTube favorite, yeah, they all understand. Spotlight bright when he steps on the scene.
Good night, everyone.